We live. We live. We live. We live.
We all the way live. We all the way live.
We
We
live.
all the way live. Y'all, it's your healthy habits and lifestyle coach, Jovonnie. And I help those with endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome reduce chronic pain, eliminate stress, and minimize irregular or heavy periods. Y'all, I'm also the host of the Empowered Plates Empowered Lives podcast. Episode 39 just dropped yesterday with a physical therapist. And she talked about ways to help reduce the pain of having intercourse, because a lot of people with endometriosis experience painful intercourse. And there's a product called the O-Nut, and she brought it out and showed you all about it. So y'all tap into that episode with Dr. Dion, a pelvic floor therapist, but also she's a physical therapist, also a doula. So go check out episode 39 of the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast. Shereen.
What up, everyone? It is your girl, Shereen Simon, the owner of blackprint.com, the host of Voices and Vibes. That's where we amplify the voices of Black-owned businesses, as well as have conversations about things we don't typically discuss within our community, as well as I'm the owner of Perspective Studio Productions, where I am not today. Today, I am broadcasting live from the comfort of my humble basement because it's been a busy, busy week and I have been spending a lot of time outside. So,
Speaking of a busy week, we are going to check in with the self-care empowerment card. All right. So I got the self-care empowerment card for today. I was doing a little shuffling.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Card on the top. What do I want my biggest accomplishment to be?
Ooh.
What do I want my biggest accomplishment to be?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're showing us the self-care empowerment, not
the self-care empowerment card that I got off of Amazon. I purchased these cards to be conversation starters when in public events where I'm a vendor or doing live podcast interviews. So I want to share a self-care empowerment card with you. So what do I want my biggest accomplishment to be? Let me hear it, Shereen.
Whew. Ever or of no, like this year? Because I think right now my mind is focused on this year as opposed to like ever. So, and when I say that, ever is not as clear. So ever would be like, I want to travel, meet businesses, and it's that broad. But like right now, my biggest accomplishment would be to have a successful relaunch of blackprint.com with amazing brands and just constantly having sales roll in, and just facilitate a lot of communal conversations for up and coming businesses, as well as for the community, so they understand how to heal and what we can use for healing. And like as early as like July, August, September, like next quarter, and make it like really revenue generating, like impactful, right? So that is my near future biggest accomplishment ask.
Why is that so important to you to achieve?
So I'm going to go with my part first, because I was going to say, oh, to be impactful. Yes. But first, to be self-sustainable, right? I am now 100% an entrepreneur, and I'd like it to stay that way. I'm extremely happy. And it's because of this lifestyle change, right? That I've been wanting for a long time. So now it's about, how do I make this completely sustainable? And one of my other big asks especially after a conversation today with another studio owner, is really to be able to produce for B2B as well as another stream of revenue, but maybe the main stream of revenue. Excuse me. And then, so that's so self sustainability is so that I can live the life that I want to live. And if I look at it, I am all about giving back and being impactful. And we have these talks to talk business, to talk wellness, and all of that. And I want people to know the options available to them, right? So it can make an impact on their lifestyle. I need to make changes within my lifestyle. So it can be a journey that we do together. It could be moments of relation. It can be developing an authentic, uh, I want to say community, but like almost like a relationship because we're bonding on things we tried, things that we want to do, things that we're doing that works, right? And understanding ourselves better. So the impact is internally um, for my own health, but also in externally for the community, whether it's for their inside of them or even conversations can heal like the mentality part of things as well. So that's still internal and external, and feel really, really good about what we are consuming. Whether, and I'm not talking food alone, I'm talking consuming in regards to like content, consuming in regards to what we put on our skin, right? The largest organ, consuming in regards to the conversations and just being very mindful. So that impact is important to me. What about yourself?
I love that. I love that. I absolutely love that. That's a big accomplishment. For me, I'm gonna have to say I want my biggest accomplishment to be a movement. I want a movement around my M to the third degree healing empowerment formula. That's mindset, mindful eating, and actual movement, mindful movement, intentional movement, however you want to do it. I think most of the time we call it exercise, but I don't really like the word exercise. I just want to get into the habit of movement because sometimes when people say exercise, it feels like a task more than it is something to just embrace the fact that you can actually honor your body in a great form of movement that's actually helping you to heal. So it's the M to the third degree healing empowerment formula that I really want to just create this global movement around. So that way people are empowered to take their healing journey to a whole nother level, and to truly evolve that healing journey. And so that's what I want to be my biggest accomplishment, to see the M to the third degree healing empowerment formula to be a global movement, specifically for those with endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome, because I have experience with those conditions, and I know how overwhelming it can be to be frustrated with not being able to manage or reverse those symptoms that come with those conditions. And I really truly believe that the M to the third degree healing empowerment formula can really truly increase the vibrancy of people's life and the quality of their life. And so if there's a movement around those things and people are on this explorative journey of healing around those three big components of mindset, mindful eating, and movement, I think it would really cause this shift of healing throughout the world. And I would love for that to be my biggest accomplishment. And when I think of mindset, it's more so not just a thought process, but your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, but also when it comes to your beliefs, just like what you said, Shereen, about products on your body, knowing where toxins are, how to treat your body with love. It really goes into the self-care and the self-love and the decisions that you actually make in regards to who you are as a being. And those decisions allow you to start shifting how you think and believe about the healing properties of food. And as well, then moves into how you feel about actually moving your body and being grateful for the body that you do have. Because a lot of times people with endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome, or even fibroids, they get upset at their body because their body is causing all of this pain, all of these reasons to consistently have to go through surgery. And it's really just this thing of saying, why is my body working against me instead of working with me? So I want that connection back to self-love and self-care, of being one with your mind, body, and your soul. So that's what I would want my biggest accomplishment to
I
be.
like that.
Man,
Anybody that's listening, the question was, what would you like your biggest accomplishment to be? And you can set the time frame of that accomplishment. Do you want it to be short term, within like the next couple of months, the next couple of weeks, tomorrow, or in year, right? And you can also talk long term, but like, feel free to share, if you're comfortable, what you'd like your biggest accomplishment to be.
Yep. So thank you, Shereen, for allowing me to check us in today. Y'all, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channels, please do so right now. Click subscribe. You can like this video if you already like the check-in. Hit the notification bell so you never miss when we are uploading a video, a short. We're here doing a live podcast episode drops. Y'all just stay locked in with us. But most importantly, if you subscribe, you're supporting small Black businesses and female podcasters that are just doing their absolute best to provide value and amplifying our voice. So thank you for subscribing to our channel. Thank you for locking in. But most importantly, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Herbal Tea Thursday, our Wellness Live series. Let's toast it up, Shereen.
What you drinking, girl? What you drinking?
Girl, so in one cup, I got some green tea, and then in another cup, I got some spearmint tea. So I was almost finished with this one, but I made another one just in case we need it. So you ready to toast it up? What you got?
I got I was gonna say iced tea because I'm usually drinking iced tea, but no, I just walked in the house. I'm drinking lemonade, pink lemonade. So ching ching.
I'm with it.
You gotta take a sip when you toast, honey. You gotta take a sip.
I am. It's a little hot. I am. I want to do a little steep.
I hear you. So if you are not subscribed, did you already say subscribe? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I just did that. But they say spearmint tea is really good for those with PCOS, and it helps reduce like how fast your facial hair grows back.
Really?
With their So I got a lot of spearmint tea. They say try to drink like 2 cups a day. I haven't gotten the 2 cups a day yet, but I have started to, because I bought it. I'm more prone to actually drink it because it's in there. You see, it's in the habits. You got to have it in order to be able to implement it. So yes, I definitely told us to check in. But the green tea I heard was very good as well.
Oh, green tea is so good for you. It does have it's more of a bland taste, in my opinion. And I don't put sugar in it. In my teas, I'll just put maybe honey, but most times I just drink my teas black. Sometimes I actually do drink my tea with a little bit of condensed milk. No, evaporated milk. Not condensed milk, evaporated milk. But most times it's just black. I just actually text my daughter, can you make me a cup of peppermint tea? So we'll see. I kind of forgot all about the tea. I just needed to get here and open the laptop.
All good. So what's your wellness win for the week, Shereen? Wellness win.
Drop it in the chat what your wellness win is while I am thinking.
Most definitely. We want to celebrate and acknowledge your wins.
Wellness wins for sure.
Wellness win in the chat.
You know, lately I feel like I'm running against time. So I have been struggling to remember, okay, what day is it today? Somebody said to me, oh yeah, and so today's Thursday. And I was like, it is? Okay, yeah. I know it's Thursday. Oh, she's gonna make me a cup of tea when she's done eating. But what's my wellness? I think that like it kind of pivots into the conversation we're about to talk about. But for me, it's probably like, I don't know if it's overcoming anxiousness and nervousness, but kind of pushing through it. Maybe that's just the way. Like, no matter what, even if I'm nervous, this week has had big wins. Okay, I got you. So my big win this week then is, I can officially announce it. I am one of the co-founders of the first Black Canadian what do you call it? I forgot what it's called. It's called Professional House. I didn't forget the name of it, but a social club. I always forget that name. So the first Canadian Black women social club. And I'm one of the co-founders. And for me, I didn't even really know, like I'm not tapped into that side of society. So I didn't really know what I know of the names of social clubs, but it's not like top of mind, even to remember the name of it. But for this, like I spoke with the main founder who had the idea, Teresa, um, the idea, and it was fostered from the experiences that she does for Black women in Canada, and huge ones. And she actually brings sisters and sisterhood from the US to come and participate in it. Ronnie Brown was in it last year. Yeah, she was totally in it last year. And there was many other sisters in it that I don't know off the top of my head. But naturally, I've been talking about Ronnie lately. So that's why it's top of mind. But I just think that Toronto has this at some point there's this reputation that you can get the Toronto snub. It's not the best. It's not, I don't think everybody experiences it, but it's real. And basically, what it could be is you could be in a space, and unfortunately, some of the sisters can kind of snub you. And I've experienced it. I've experienced it from somebody who was nice to me one time, and then um, they didn't, the energy just seemed off another time, right? So much so that my son was like, stop trying to talk to that person, right? Because he was there. So he witnessed it. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to be me. And he's like, and then it happened again. And he's like, just stop. Um, but it's a real thing. And I'm not certain what it derives from. So this social club is really about inclusivity and support and to like break down those type of barriers. We talk about things like gatekeeping. I didn't even know gatekeeping a couple of years ago. I feel like it's a trending word now in social media when it comes to sharing information. Um, but Toronto is big and small. And so you might experience these things. Who's big is big. You know who the big names are. Even if you don't know them, you're aware of who they are. And then how do other people come up? How do other people fit in spaces? And this one here is really to foster a sisterhood, a sisterhood, and to break through those things. Um, and so, to lessen the snub. And that, and more than that, it's more about building as opposed to lessening. So being a part of it to me is going to cause great impacts for businesses that are coming up. I'm looking forward to just contributing. I did not have a mentor growing up. I have mentored a few ladies as time has gone by, but being able to be a voice and to feed back and pour back into other Black women at different levels and even for each other. Like they talked about, we just had like the dinner a couple of days ago and we announced who all of the co-founders were. So everybody knew about the social club for months now, but who all of the participants would be at the table for launch or co-founders was not announced until yesterday. So it's just being able to build each other up. And one of the topics that came up is that some of the women speak to the sisters are south of the border. And I am that one of those women. You ladies, yourself, the Activity Playhouse, Sports Sense, you ladies are my accountability sisters. You build me up. And I'm not saying I don't have a sisterhood here, but I don't have as much sisterhood as I do south of the border. I talk to you ladies 10,000 times in a week, right? And so the whole point, and just hearing some of the women, very exceptional, high caliber Black women, talk about togetherness and supporting not just other businesses, Black women businesses, but supporting each other. I was just in shock, and it was just such a wonderful moment that I was present, but I felt like I was watching it. So it kind of had me very, very nervous and stumped for words. Yeah. So I would say that just knowing that this is starting and being fostered, that is my wellness win, and I'm just happy and ecstatic, even though I seem low energy because I'm just tired. Ecstatic to be a part of it. Mhm.
Freaking congratulations, Shereen
Thank
Simon,
you.
co-founder, making her story up in there. I'm proud of you.
Thank
I think
you.
the biggest word I heard was building. And that I think is the most important thing you can do when showing up in the lives of other people is build. Whether you're building with, building for, or building them up. And I think that is absolutely a beautiful thing. So congratulations on your wellness win
Thank you.
for this week, Shereen. And thank you for sharing it. Y'all don't forget when you are watching this episode, and if you're watching right now, please make sure you drop your wellness win because we want to be able to acknowledge and celebrate yours as well. My wellness win, Shereen, my wellness win would be that I experienced some great raw eats while traveling. So I
Mm.
would say that is my wellness win. There was one moment where I felt I was limited options. And I was like, do I stop the raw journey here because I am on the go, or do I keep it moving forward?
Ooh.
And it was just a quick thought, but it didn't last long at all because I have thoroughly been enjoying this raw journey. So when I traveled home to South Carolina in the DFW airport, I had a beautiful salad from Flying Saucers.
Mm.
It was absolutely amazing. All I had to do was tell them not to add the feta cheese. I think it comes with that. So it's more like a vegetarian salad on their menu, but you can get it plant-based. Absolutely amazing. So, if I got it on my way going out, when I came back, I sat down and ate it again before I left the airport. So that was a wellness win for me. And then I went to Atlanta on a work trip, and I was able to tap into some of those raw restaurants in Atlanta.
Mm.
There are more raw restaurants in Atlanta and raw options in Atlanta than there is here in Dallas. So I was really excited to explore. So I went to this one Caribbean restaurant and I was able to get my first raw pizza.
Oh, pizza at a Caribbean restaurant?
It was, and that's all they had. They had a menu of raw foods, but that's all they had available. I think
Okay.
it's because it was a Monday and the week was just getting started and they didn't
Okay.
really have anything there. So what I'm learning about restaurants that offer raw foods, their raw menus aren't always ready and accessible all the time. Their
Mm.
regular vegan options are,
Well,
but
oh,
not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
raw ones. So I'm noticing that when they're preparing or wanting to have raw options as a menu, it's not as easy to have
Mhm.
those things ready to go. So raw isn't as fast
Accessible? Oh,
food
fast food,
as
yeah.
you think it would be,
Yeah.
because you're not cooking it.
Which you would think, but I guess it's more
Exactly. But
prep.
then you
Yeah.
how do you actually keep those types of that produce ready and available for freshness when people are
Mhm.
coming when you don't know who's really going to get what,
Yeah, and
So I know
prepared.
there you go.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to actually get a raw chef or two or three on the
Mhm.
podcast so I can learn and be able to understand a little bit more of why that is the way it is. But
Yeah.
I agree. Let kids play podcasts.
Mhm.
Not yet. That is surprising, but the raw pizza was pretty good, Shereen. It was
Mhm.
like a flaxseed crust.
Okay.
The crust was good. The sauce, like the tomato sauce, I think, was really good. It definitely made me think about pizza. The cheese really
Mhm.
made me thought about pizza. They had like this mixed green type thing on top. That wasn't bad, but they added olives on top of that. If I could have taken the olives out and added like a
Mm.
nut meat, you know how I am about these nut meats. The nut meat on top of the raw pizza, it probably would have made the experience like a 9 out of 10. And the reason why
Yeah.
I say 9 is for some reason because it's raw food. a lot of times I get my food and it's cold, and I don't like to eat cold
Mm.
foods. I like to eat room temperature food. So like if
Right.
I have my food that I prepared in the refrigerator, I like to take it out and let it sit for a little while before I actually
Warm
fix
up.
it. So I have room temperature. Instead of eating like cold foods. I don't really like eating cold foods like that. So that temperature was a not so good experience for me. And then because I felt like I just got it straight out the refrigerator, and I
Eating
went
the
eating
pizza?
eating a pizza. Yeah.
Oh,
So
which
there
makes
was some
sense
food.
because they need to keep it fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I understood it, but I don't know what you need to do. I don't know if you need to drop the container in some hot water just to warm it up some kind of way or
No,
what.
because then it might not be raw.
I mean, you're just warming it up. It's not going to be like
Mm.
that high. I'm not saying
Yeah.
I said drop the container into, like, I didn't say put the pizza in something
I
hot.
know. I heard you.
I just need you to warm that thing up. But
Mhm.
the nut meat, I think, would have been good, but they didn't have any nut meat for me to be able to taste their type of nut meat. Like I
Yeah.
fallen in love with Recipe Oak Cliff here in Dallas, there, Chipotle water, because I love that. Tassili's Raw Reality Cafe is big. I've seen her on YouTube. I've seen her on Instagram. She's like even on Google, she has like the most reviews and in regards to raw food. So I ended up getting her food through Uber Eats, even though there was some desserts I wanted to try at her restaurant that wasn't an option on Uber Eats. So sometimes on Uber
Yeah,
Eats
they're limited.
right. But the coconut corn was amazing, and the carrot tuna was amazing.
Mm.
The pad thai noodles was too spicy of a kick for me. I wouldn't do that one again. And then it was one other thing that I had. Oh, she had this black lover stew, which was
Mhm.
like black rice soaked, because it's not, you can't cook it, soaked, and it
Yeah.
had like this gravy with peppers and mushrooms, like vegetables and stuff on it. That was really good too. But it all came in one container. And I'm not one to like have all my food just mixed all
Mixed
together,
up.
but it's like one container with all four things. But those were the things that I had. It was 3 out of the 4 options that I tried that was really, really good. But that carrot tuna was amazing. That was my number one. And I loved the coconut corn because I could do that coconut corn because it was
Oh,
like,
hold on.
milk. Go ahead.
So the corn was in with the tuna
Everything
and
was
the.
one.
So it sounds like it was a bowl.
It was a vegetable plate, and you can do like a 4 option, 5 option, or 6 option. But it
Was it a bowl or was it like compartments in the plate?
It was no compartment in the plate. It was all just in one bowl. Check out the Nourish and Flourish mukbang that I did on Tuesday. You will see it all. That one was a little like, because it was like, but I was like, hey, this is
I would be thinking like some of the flavors might be mixing, like the corn, the coconut corn. That's what it sounds like, a bowl.
It was next to the carrot tuna, so those two were my favorite anyway. But the black lover stew was too close to the pad thai, and the pad thai was too hot for me in regards to that. Yeah, but that was really good. But oh my goodness, Loving It Live was my absolute favorite. I got this sage burger. Well, I got the half sage burger. It was so delicious. The half sage burger. I got a kebab brownie, which was pretty good too. It was my first raw brownie that I've had. I've always had raw cheesecake as a raw dessert. And then I had on the side, I got the flaxseed crackers with the cheese, and I got the sage crumble. So it's almost like a little mini nachos to the side because I got the sandwich and I didn't want to get like too much. And it was absolutely amazing. I love the spin they put on the sage crumbles. It was just so herbally to me, like the herbs that they use and spices. It was just a whole nother vibe when it came to their type of way of having a meat alternative, and it was so good, as well as the cheese sauce. And it was my first time having those flaxseed crackers. It was very brittle, but I absolutely love the fact that it was a chip, and it was my first time having a chip on the raw journey. So it was really good. So Loving It Live was like my number one restaurant experience, and I would definitely go back when I come back to Atlanta, and maybe we can try when we go to the podcast summit, and you can tell me what you think. But girl,
I just thought of something though.
freaking amazing. That was my wellness win. I was eating good raw eats in the streets on traveling. What you got?
So,
And was Nayetta and was.
so you have, and I know you're still thinking about it and still have to figure out what you want to do. Last year, you fostered this really unique experience where we had a vegan chef come to like an event, right? Like a get together.
Definitely had it.
And this year, you're raw. So does that mean the food that the vegan chef will need to be raw, or it'll need to be raw options and other things? I just
I'm
thought
going
about
to say that it's going to be raw.
100% raw.
I'm going to say that it needs to be raw because I want
Oh
you to experience.
no.
And I'm thinking that it's going to be, what's up, Sports Sense? Let Kids Play podcast and Sports Sense. Make sure y'all drop y'all wellness wins for us. We're on the wellness wins segment of our Wellness Live series right now. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. Shereen, I'm gonna go with raw. Let's keep it real and raw. It's probably going to be the theme. And we're going to come together as podcasters, everyone that's coming in, I really want the same group from last year. I definitely want to invite them to come back through. And let's just have real conversations about our podcast experience and journey thus far since last year, since we have been able to provide any tips, some insights, what has been working for us. Like, I would just love that, like, just to see our evolution of growth in regards to where we are now, a year after the first podcast summit.
I just want something cooked. I'm gonna eat some raw, but I don't want all raw. I want something cooked. Oh, congratulations!
Congratulations! You can definitely get something cooked.
Yeah,
just not for me.
I really like last year.
I didn't take menu options last year, and people thoroughly enjoyed everything.
Last year, there
were some people probably wanted real meat and not fried chicken, oyster mushrooms. I mean,
no, I was good with the vegan. I was good with vegan. I was
be good with keeping it real and raw and just exploring something different. It's up to you. It's all
have like one.
It's up to you. It's your choice. It's up to you. It's your choice.
Well,
it's all good. I love it.
I mean, I must still be there.
Let's go with back in the gym, baby.
Girl, that's a win.
How did you feel after you left the gym? Because I know you like the gym like that. And did you still take Cherica and Charlie on a walk? I just want to know.
Oh, well, I would hope so.
I just want to know that.
So while she's bringing that up, let's get into it. Yeah, because
get into it. The evolution of newness. So, Shereen, we're talking the evolution of newness. Being in places you know you were destined to be in, but having this nervousness, having this sense of anxiety because it's new, it's different, it's outside of your comfort zone. Let's talk about it.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of changes happening for all of us. We're all growing, we're all building our business. And so for me, I found myself this past week in new spaces, but not just in new spaces, experiencing a bit of anxiety, a bit of more nervousness than anxiety, more like real, I guess, is nervousness and anxiety the same thing? I don't know. I need to like quickly do a quick search, quick dictionary check. But a lot of nervousness that, yeah, sure, I push through. One of my tactics of when I'm nervous is to say it out loud. Right? One of my tactics is to say it. So I think, my days are going so fast. I'm having a hard time keeping up. So last week, Friday, I did my first talk. And I've been on panels before, but I did my first talk. So there was nervousness there. And also because my presentation was pictures. Like I had one slide with, some words on it. And then after that, I told a story. And so a lot of that was quite different from how I typically present in corporate. And even in corporate, you kind of like, the process is like to slim it down. So you don't need an abundance of words, and you don't need an abundance of pictures, because you're telling the story. But for me, if I had done this talk a month ago when we were supposed to, it would have had more words, less picture. It would have had pictures. It would have been more corporate. It would have been more corporate because I was designing it to be that way. And that's not how it was. And it was just new. And I think in that particular scenario, it was because of how vulnerable I was being with my story, which I don't typically talk about. So there was the nervousness to share. And what really hit me was during that nervousness and while I was sharing everything, I didn't expect to get so emotional, where I was kind of choked up emotions. So,
Where do you think those emotions came from?
the situation,
Okay.
it's a very emotional situation. So, it's not something I talk about often. It's not something I talk about. Um, and I did feel when I walked into the room and I seen all the Black women there, and they were, mature Black women, I felt this is a safe space, um, to be able to, Black women can just get it. And we all go through our own kind of struggles. So I did feel like I could share my story that speaks about struggles,
Mhm.
right? So, and it was very vulnerable and emotional. But then this week as well, even though I talked about the wins, today I moderated, I was at a podcast event. And it was great to have a podcast event. That's also a wellness win. It was great to have a podcast event in Canada where you have podcasters coming out. I even had somebody who came to my open house. He was there. You have content creators in the house. And I was always attending, but I was tapped in like 2 days ago as a moderator because somebody who was going to moderate another podcaster got ill, right? So she got sick. So I think the nervousness there is with my interviews, it's not really scripted. We have a we have a conversation. And so there's not scripted questions. I might take a look at, like, I'll take something will drive the need for the conversation. So I'll have an idea of where I want to go, but it's not like I need to hit these questions. Where this was very structured. And for me, I was like, okay, I want to make sure I don't miss anything on the list, right? They gave me this list. I want to make sure I don't miss anything on this list. But also, some of them were questions, some of them were like kind of bullet points. So I had to kind of formulate it in my own words. So I went up there with my paper. I mean, other people had their phones, other moderators, but it didn't really give much room for me to show personality because I'm just reading a question. And if anything, my volume was a bit low because I was nervous. And it wasn't imposter syndrome. I didn't feel like I didn't belong.
It's a new space, something different, and definitely outside of your
And the how was different.
out of your comfort zone. You're just someone who just likes to vibe and talk. You're not trying to hit certain questions. But I get the reason why they would have questions for you to ask the panelists and guests, because they have an intention, they have an objective that they want the audience to be able to take away from this event versus just how things just flow. Because you're going to get value out of the flow, but you're going to also guarantee takeaways if you make sure that you have structured questions in order for people to actually get something out of it. But even having the structured questions, I believe that you're going to find ways to still be able to say, wait a minute, expand on that, or find a way to put your spin on whatever sits with you. Because more than likely, if it resonated with you with something that someone said, it's going to resonate with somebody else in the audience. And just the fact that you have the power as a moderator, because you're in control of navigating this conversation, you get to help the audience get even more out of what
to a degree, because so one, we're on a limited time. So and each question has a time slot. So I'm being mindful of the time. I'm being mindful of the question. And occasionally I'm saying, I really like that point because of this, this, and this. And I think some of it also might have been because I wasn't a part of the process of coming up with the questions, and I just met everybody minutes. But I knew of two out of the three panelists. Right? Actually, no, the third panelist, I follow her on TikTok, but I don't follow her on Instagram. So, and I didn't pick up right away that's who she was until like we were done. So sure. And ironically enough, her and I were the first to like sit and talk for a good 15, 20 minutes before we went up. But I think some of it is just overthinking. So there was a few times where I could say, you know, this, and this, and add to it. Like they spoke about just doing the work. So I was able to say the fact that I've been outside and I've been doing the work is why Cheryl pinpointed me as somebody who could easily do this. Right. So it felt good to be in that space, and it felt good to be exposed in that space. But then also afterwards, the networking was prime prime networking. And
That's
then
the value within it right there for you.
prime networking. And then for people to be like, oh, you're the person with the studio. Like,
Ooh, come
that studio is like top of studio. And the owner and he gave me a personal tour. We went through pricing, we went through equipment, we went through setup. Like I was
on,
back in the back rooms. We talked about e-commerce. We talked about type of customers. We talked about where I should go, what I should focus on, what I should like. And it's already been a goal in regards to like meeting with certain studio owners, but I think it was more working through it. So I'm gonna pass you.
Girl, that is beautiful. Look at all
Mhm.
the opportunities you got out of just
Going up.
embracing. Yeah, just embracing something new that's outside of your comfort zone that you probably
Absolutely.
would have never done before in your life. And because you
I would.
leaned into it, huh?
I said I would. I mean,
I mean, it
I
wasn't
would
like you
do
were
it.
saying, "Hey, I'm ready to do this now. Choose me,
Yeah.
choose me." People
Yeah.
said, "You know what? You out here working. We want you to be a part of this." Like
Hmm.
someone saw you. You didn't have to ask, "Hey, can I be a part of this?" No,
Yeah.
they came to you. So eventually, yeah, you would have been able to do that. But would that be because you're asking to be a part of it, or would someone say, "Hey, we love what you're doing. We love your vibes. We love seeing how much you're putting out there. We want you." That's
Yeah.
really what I mean by it. But
Yeah. No,
I
you're
think it's
right.
absolutely amazing that they see so much in you. They see your hustle. They see your work ethic. They see that you're grinding and you're showing up. They see your behind the scenes. They see you being you, and they want you to be a part of the things that they're creating. So I love it for you because you just got so many opportunities out of just saying, yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Nervous and all,
Yes.
anxious and all, and you did it and you're doing it. And so I'm grateful that they saw that in you. So congratulations, Shereen,
Thank you.
with your evolution of the newness.
Thank you. What would you say is some of the evolution that you've recently been experiencing, Jovonnie? And then like working through the nervousness of that evolution.
The evolution of newness for me recently, I'm going to have to say embracing opportunities that people ask me for. So like you said, someone asked you
Yeah.
to be a part of something. I was asked to be a weekend host
Mm,
of the morning meetup. So
yeah.
Thursday and Friday, they wanted me to help host a call within a community that I'm a part of entrepreneurs. And I was
Mhm.
like, why choosing me? What qualifies me for this? Why y'all really want me? What is it?
Wow.
And people were saying it was my energy and
Yes.
the vibes that I bring. And that was like, really? Well, would I even be good at this? Am I going to help the community? Will I support it? What's really going to be about this? It was something brand new that I was nervous about because I already used to get nervous just asking my own questions in the community itself and really just
Mm,
showing up. Not making sure I'm asking a thoughtful question or is my question stupid? It just will I get a good answer if I ask a question that's going to make me more empowered to do something, or it's making me like, okay, what is really happening? And so I did it for the month of May. Thanks to my
You
accountability sister and
killed it for the
few
month
other
of May.
people who said, yeah, go for it. This is really awesome. And opportunities came from that. Just like you said, I did it. It challenged me to be on time for work on Thursday and Friday because I needed to already be at work, ready to go to host that part of the call. And so that challenged me to be at work on time. So I love that, especially on those days. And then, so that was a beautiful thing for me. But as well, it allowed me to constantly, consistently put myself out there and just speak for people to be able to hear my voice, people to get to know me. And I feel like I do that already, you know, with our live every Thursday, with my mukbang live every Tuesday, with a podcast that drops every Wednesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, social media gets me live or in a way of a pre-recorded session to get to know me and get to know what I believe in and my M to the third degree healing empowerment formula, which I, like I said earlier, I want that to be my biggest accomplishment to the world. But it's getting in front of other people's communities that would have never known you had you not came up and shown who you were, to be able to say, you know what, I too have endometriosis. You know what, I know how I can better help you move your movement further. And just being able to find that support or find people in my target audience was a beautiful thing for me in the month of May. And because people enjoyed it so much, as well as getting podcast guests, I had an amazing podcast interview with Sarita in regards, because she's a trauma coach. And I met her through the morning meetup community. And it was an amazing episode. She absolutely loved it. And it was great to have other people come on, share their stories, and feel empowered. So I am loving that even more people in the morning meetup want to be on my podcast just because they're able to see me and vibe with me for that whole month of May. And because of that, they now want me to do June as well. So I'm excited about being able to promote myself even more and continue to get in those reps of showing up and making sure people know who I am and what I do to help others and impact others, as well as who I can relate to. And so I love it. I absolutely love that. And I'm excited about doing more promo for myself because I just chose May to just get a groove of how this is supposed to flow. And so now June, I could do a lot better with actually promoting myself and promoting the free things that I have and getting more people who feel led to share their health journeys on the podcast, to be a part of it. And I like that people want to be a part of that journey. So I'm going to say hosting, being a weekend host of the morning meetup was one of those opportunities for me recently when it comes to being something that I was really nervous about, that I was able to just show up and be myself, and everyone absolutely loved it and they wanted to bring me back for it. So I like that. I also believe that opportunity has allowed me to really get more of a feel of how a community can really be created, or what people really get out of community that they truly enjoy. So it's allowing me to get that type of insight in regards to community building and what people like and appreciate in regards to hosting something, as well as creating community and being a community member. So I love that. And thank you all for loving that for me. So I think that's it right there. And honestly, Shereen, you know, you, Nayetta, and Cynthia say I need to put myself out there more. And so shout out to Shator with Rewire your business and allowing me to, what I didn't know, create raw footage of me walking through my freebie, my anti-inflammatory guide that I really truly valuable to help people start creating healthy habits and lifestyle changes. Specifically those with endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome, but anybody who's ever felt chronic pain, who's ever felt overly whelmed with stress, and have really irregular or heavy periods could benefit from this anti-inflammatory guide. And it's really all about fruits, vegetables, there's just different foods, herbs, recipes for smoothies and juices, exercises that you can go. It's all about my M to the third degree healing empowerment formula, mindset, mindful eating, and movement, all in one to really get you started on that lifestyle journey. Have that promo every
Mhm.
single day come out makes me feel so much better, because I think that with my podcast is allowing people to get a better understanding of who I am and what I do. And I know that that's only going to continue to encourage me to put even more content out there in regards to who I am and how I can help. So I believe that is also some newness that I was kind of nervous about doing, because I didn't know how well it was going to really be received. But you just got to do.
Yeah.
I saw this post before we came on here, and it was pause and choose. So really getting over the overthinking
Well,
aspect that I tend to do is,
mhm.
just get used to taking a pause and
Mhm.
just move from there. And I think that is something that I'm going to take moving forward into embracing the evolution of newness, taking the pause, then making a choice, and keep the vibes moving forward.
I
So I
found it
hope it.
I found it interesting at the beginning when you said, first of all, I love that you got that experience. And not only did you get that experience, they asked you to run it back another month, right? Because you were so great. And you definitely bring the energy in that space, especially first thing in the morning. So that helps create liveliness within that community, right? And definitely, if someone has that energy and it's a consistent energy, yeah, I want to learn more about them. I want to see what they're doing. Shoot, I want to be a part of what they're doing, because you want to also give that energy, be a part of all of that, foster that, right? But I found it so interesting that some of the things that you mentioned at the very beginning, and now you're saying like pause and kind of take a moment. Two things. So, one, I was listening to a podcast that I think the Activity Playhouse told us to listen to by Mel, whatever her name is.
Robbins.
And so I think it was in hers where she said the doctor said you have 17 seconds to change your mind. So you have, when you have a thought, a doubting thought, something where you're second guessing yourself, you're overthinking, you can stop that. And even before hearing that, I would say, oh, I'm tired, and be like, oh, I'm not tired. But because I'm so accustomed to saying, whew, I'm tired, I'd be like, okay, wait a minute. I'm not tired. I'm good. To change my own energy first from for what I put out as well, but also change what I'm thinking up here. But then to hear her say it, it's almost like a reminder, and it kind of validates like, oh, okay, that's what I was doing when I'd say, wait a minute, I'm not tired. Shut up. You're not tired. You're not tired. Stop telling you. Okay, I'm tired. Well, then you know what? Yeah, I just talked myself into being tired when I wasn't tired. Right. But to hear her say that, but even more so, to hear you say, um, second guessing and like, me, you want me? Why do you want me? Ryan, the guy that I tend to do a lot of things with, he would be asking me. And I think back in like February and March, I had to be like, okay, just wait a minute. Why do you keep asking me? Not that I don't want you to ask me, but it's that we're I think that's why we're also going to talk about like the shift, because first we were doing the work, and we were just understanding the process, and then we were doing the work, and now people are like, hmm, Jovonnie got that energy. Girl, come over here. Shereen out here doing interviews. Come, I could use somebody. Hey, you want to come do this interview with me? Sure. While we were talking, I got a text saying, you coming to the event tomorrow night? I was like, downtown or Durham, where you want me? Right. But we're doing the work, and it's that shift externally where other people are seeing it. But yet we are still saying, you want me? Why do you want me? So it's our own mental shift that needs to happen. It's that 17 seconds. When I got invited to be the moderator today, I said, well, before I say yes, I already knew. As soon as she asked me, I knew I was going to say yes, but that's not how I responded. I was like, well, she's like, I know you might need some time. And I said, well, before I say yes or no, I do have a couple of questions. In my head, I was like, say yes, girl, say yes. But outside, I was like, okay, well, how long? La la la. But why'd you pick me? And she's like, I see you outside. And I had no doubt that you can do this. But that, why me? And one of my girlfriends once said, and I have it written on one of my mirrors, why not? Why not you? Why
Yeah.
not me? So why not you, Jovonnie? Woo, that's right. That's right. You see it. Why not me? I don't know how I did that magic, but why not me? Why not you? Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
I don't think you got to do the right
I
gesture.
don't know what the gesture was that I did, but like, why not us?
Yeah.
So,
I think I asked the question, why me? Just so I make sure I bring that component to what it is that they're wanting from me. So if it's the certain aspect that you're saying, hey, I want you to do this. Well, why me? Are you
mm-hmm,
looking for a healthy habits and lifestyle coach? Are
mm-hmm,
you looking for more of my personality? Are you looking for more of my
mm-hmm,
insight because you like my perspective? Why me? So I can make sure I show up with that part of me, that part of my
mm-hmm,
authentic self on like full blast all the way turned up, because that is what that's what attracted you to me.
mm-hmm,
And so that's, it's not really why me, like, are you sure you want me? It's more like, why
mm.
do you want me? What stood out
Or
about
like,
you
how do you want me?
say you want me on your platform, being a part
Mm-hmm,
of leading your community on these 2 days out of the week, so I can make sure I bring that on full blast. And so
mm-hmm,
I think that's what it was. And when you say my personality and my energy, then that's what I'm gonna make sure I bring every single time to the call. If you're gonna say healthy habits and like, then I'm gonna start bringing you tips, what I've been doing, sharing my story in regards to that. So it
mm-hmm,
really wasn't a more like why me in regards to I don't believe that you chose the right person. It was, I want to know what attracted you to me so I can make sure
mm-hmm.
I show up with that same energy, because I know that's why you wanted me in the first place.
And
But I
for
love
me,
that because I got that same thing, Shereen, when I did that
mm-hmm,
first live, because you know you're doing it in the streets with Recipe Cliff, when she said she
mm-hmm.
wanted me to come to that community market fair
Oops, oops, oops.
and do live interviews while
Mhm,
eating her food. And I was like, well, really? You want me to come? She was like, yes, like I love what you're doing with your
mhm,
mukbangs and your podcast. Um, I love seeing you and your mom out there trying different foods and being healthy. I would love for you to come showcase, you know, my dishes, as well as explore and interview the vendors, because you know small businesses is what I love to promote, and that's bringing the community together to show how, you know, the value that people are bringing, whether it's services and products. I was like, let's go for it. And I was excited
mhm,
because she didn't ask me to come as a vendor, because I could have, but she asked me to come as a podcaster to do those
mhm,
mukbangs, because I love good food experiences, because I'm on my own personal healing journey, and I want this healing journey to make it look delicious and
mhm,
capable for anybody who wants to be able to start reducing chronic pain, eliminating stress, and get regular periods back in their life. And so I love being able for people to see us do what we're doing, because people are
mhm.
watching. It might look like low numbers, it might look like low views, it might look
Doesn't
like we
matter.
don't have as many subscribers, but those analytics really don't matter when the right people are looking at you and see the value that they have, that you have, and want you to be a part of what they have going on. And it's in that alignment, it's in that evolution of newness that you really should embrace. Nervousness, anxiousness or not, just
Mhm.
embrace it, lean into it, and see what comes of you as a person, just being a part of it.
Well, today, I wasn't actually saying in regards to a doubt, but for me,
Mhm.
the question was more of like, why me? Not how do you want me, but like, why did you choose me? Like, you know what I mean? Especially when, not necessarily the first person for me, but the second person, she just knows she's Canadian Black content creators, right? So she knows so many people. So what, why me? You know what I mean? So that was the one thing. But today on the panel, we had a really strong panel, an influencer and two other they're all podcasts. Well, one influencer, she's a content creator, a big content creator, and then but they all have podcasts. And then we had two big podcasters or one newer one, but whatever. But one of the podcasters, he's pretty big. And so I asked him a question and he told a story of a millionaire. And he does actually interview a lot of millionaires. And so it's Alex Whitfield is the podcaster, and his podcast is Hustle Over Everything. And so he's talking about, and I do not remember the millionaire's name, this millionaire that when he got started, the one of the sacrifices. So I think the question I asked him was like, tell a story that had impact. And so the person he's interviewing is talking about how his wife, before they had any money, the wife took her savings, all of her savings, and was investing in her husband. And they weren't seeing nothing. And he was getting like 6 views. So this is going to be motivating for anybody who's doing content creation, or you're doing podcasting, or you're doing whatever it is to put it out there and you're not seeing the impact. It actually only takes one person. So that this person was getting about 6 views, 2 views, 1 view, no views, 6 views. And somebody asked, he did something for someone, or somebody was subscribed. One of the 6 people happened to have a boss that was looking for someone to do something. And she goes, oh, I know who you should do it for. I think he did something for the girl for the free. And so she opened up her phone and she showed the content creator, the podcaster, the content creator, whatever his business was, why don't we get him to do it from his YouTube channel? You know who his boss was? Her boss was Oprah. And he got booked, and now he's a millionaire. So, and he was having 6 views. So eventually it worked out. It just took time. And like the moral of that story was, it just takes one person, right? And so even just kind of reiterating it now like that, the whole audience today, when he told that story, he was like, oh, all the wife's savings. And I was like, holding like, oh, and then they showed it to him, and the boss was Oprah. And then the audience was like, oh, because you just feel overjoyed when the breakthrough happens.
Oh, say it one more time. You just feel what?
Overjoyed, man. Overjoyed
when the
breakthrough happens, because
thank you.
It takes
was the joy in the breakthrough.
Person,
I need you to say that one again. Yeah.
Yeah. It just takes one person. Like, you never know.
It'd be one person, watching. One piece of content.
Girl. Like, and it's evergreen. Old content, new content that's been at 0 and now somebody's seen it. Mm-hmm. And now you have this whole new opportunity because you are so different. Another woman today, she has a marketing agency, and she talked about your unique selling point, your USP. And she's like, does anybody want to raise their hands and explain? And I was like, I ain't raising my hand. Shit. I am not going to raise I'm not raising my hand. And so other people raise their hands. But because I was on the moderating team, my laptop and my bag was in this room. So at the end of the night, we did like networking in different rooms. And I went back in the end of the room at the end of the night to do something with another podcaster. And she was in there. And her business is called All the Things, which is like, and I'm like, girl, I don't know how you zoned in on that, because right now it's such a saying, a trending saying, all the things. And she's
you
like,
say that a lot. If I were to say who says that, I'd be like, Shereen, because you always say all the things.
Really? I don't even know if I keep hearing it.
I never hear anybody say it but you.
Are you kidding me?
I never hear anyone say all the things.
I hear so many people say it, but when she said it,
let me know in the comment section, those of you that are listening and watching right now, if you've ever heard someone say all the things, like that's just a part of their
all the things.
Vocabulary, all the things.
Well, she caught me in the room. We started bantering, a nice, nasty, nice banter, like just good, funny stuff. And I said, all right, this is the time to ask about USP. And I said, sometimes could your USP, your unique selling point, be me, the person? Forget the XYZ. Could I be it? Could it be my character? Could it be my energy? Could it be you? Could it be you? And she's like, absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes you are the secret ingredient. Everybody's doing what everybody else is doing 10,000 times out there. Nothing's new. There ain't nothing new. AI's been around. We just exposed to it. It was on
No,
the back
we just
end. Now
aren't
it's on
getting
the front end.
access to it. That's
Mhm.
it. We're just now getting
We're
access
just
to it.
getting access to it. It's been around. It's the algorithm. It's been around. Right. And so she's like, yeah, sometimes that's all it is. Right. So, um,
I love that. I love that
mhm.
she said it's really just you. You are your unique
You can be,
perfect. You
not
can
everybody,
be.
but
I
yeah.
mean, it is, but I like that. I would love to have I would have loved to have heard her say how you create that message to show how you are the unique selling proposition for
I mean,
yourself.
I went into it a little
Because
bit more with her. Like I went into,
that's I'm
I,
just saying we
I
weren't all in the room. See what happens when
right.
you embrace the
Yeah.
evolution of
I did
newness
go
and
into
take
more.
on
I told her what
opportunity.
it's
You got
about.
to get that access
Mhm.
to that. Not
Yeah.
everybody was able to get that and be able to access it, had that access to her to evolve that conversation, to be able
Yeah.
to say, in this moment, I was able to walk away knowing how I could really put myself out there being my unique selling proposition. So I love that for you, Shereen.
And so much so, I'm just plugging in my laptop here so the battery doesn't die. And so much so that the banter was so good. And yeah, we exchanged business cards. And then I put, do I have my business card here? I put a little extra on my business card on Vistaprint. I was going back and forth. And to make it even nicer, I put like a little suede like touch
Look
on it.
extra to it. Come on.
Right? I put a little so that when you touch it, you're like, hey, let me look at this again. I'm a little money been spent on this. So and hers, so she passed me hers. Hers has the same shape and she got the suede too. So we both went, oh, okay, I see you. And at the end, like because we were bantering for so long, she's like, you make sure you stay in touch with me. Like, let's stay in touch. So now I'm like, all right, next week, hey girl, you want to go for coffee? You know what I mean? Because I gotta take advantage. I gotta build these relationships, right?
You have to, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to, especially the ones that matter the most.
Yeah.
The ones that matter the most, you really have to learn how to cherish, value, and handle new relationships when given to you, because it's easy to lose them. You know, they're easy to fall off. It takes one thing that someone holds like with high regard, and you don't meet that, and they're done with you. Like
Which
like
really sucks. Like give people a
it,
chance.
it does, but
Give
you
people
know,
a chance, man.
it is what it is. Like case in point, and I'm all good for being transparent, because it was okay for me to get this no when I got so many other yeses within the same day. So
But
okay.
but you know, today on the stage they said when you shoot your shot, even if you get a no, that does not mean you shouldn't come back with, okay, can I follow you back up? Can I follow back up with you in like 3 months? So it's okay to get the no the first time for whatever the reason is, but that is not a full stop. Like you could still ask for the door to be opened at a later time if it makes sense. And it doesn't have to align today. Alignment can come in the future.
It could be, but in this particular stance, I'm okay with it not. I'm okay
Mhm.
with accepting the no. And
Right.
I'm okay with accepting the no. So it was a chef that I met at the podcast summit that I ended up sitting by. And so when he first came out, I asked him to be a part of the be a part of the podcast, because I'm all for plant-based chefs on the Empire Plates and Power Last podcast.
Especially if they're coming out to ATL.
I'm just
July 4th and 5th.
It was good to vibe with him at the podcast summit. And so I sent it to him back in like August and September. And then it was always like some issue he was having. And so I was realizing with my analytics that more males are tuning into the podcast than females. And so it was this whole, reach back out, see if you can get some more male guests, run with the algorithm, lean into it. And so I asked him about being on the podcast again, because remember, I already sent it to him and requested it in August and September. Tried 2 different emails with him. So it wasn't as if I, wasn't trying. And so he was like, yeah, he'll make it on Tuesday. Well, last week I was in South Carolina visiting my family. So I was just focused on trying to get that in. I forgot that I was traveling on Tuesday for work.
Right.
In order to be able to do that. So I wasn't able to have that podcast while being on the road traveling. And so
Yeah,
I
you got a
forgot
lot
all
going
about
on.
that. So when I
Yeah.
followed up today, he was like, I won't be able to do the podcast anymore. I made time on Tuesday. It didn't happen. So I'm not going to. I was like, I completely understand. I was traveling for work. Makes perfect sense.
Yep.
I respect that. I'll still, share your content and support you. Thank you
Yeah.
for letting me know. And I was okay with that because I had
Yeah.
so many other people who were willing today to share their endometriosis journey with me. And that's what the podcast was created for
Yeah.
anyway. So with so many people asking to be on the podcast, as
Yeah.
well as me shooting my shot, asking people to share their journeys and them saying yes and excited and want to be on the platform, that one no today, I was okay with,
Yeah.
I was all right with that because I have a process. And that process is you fill out the podcast guest application form. So then that way you are on my calendar. So then I don't miss the opportunity for us to work together. I don't do
Oh, was a step missed as well?
Yeah, he never filled out the podcast guest application.
Oh, okay.
I said August and September. So when you say you're going to do something, I also need you to come through with my process. So then that way I don't miss anything. And so I'm okay with
or you can rearrange things, reschedule things to accommodate if you need to, right? So
my message today was email sent again. It was like, and then that's when it was like, oh, well, I set up time on Tuesday. He didn't follow up on Tuesday to say, hey, what time are we meeting today? He didn't give me a specific time on Tuesday. So I don't work like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay that it didn't fall through because I don't watch you.
It actually sounds like it wasn't supposed to happen.
And I was okay with it. That's what I said. I wasn't even mad at that. But I love what he's doing. I want to continue to promote him because I love seeing people create these plant-based experiences because I know plant-based nutrition, getting in more fruits and vegetables is what your body needs. And so I value that. So because I value that, I have no reason to stop supporting you and pushing your content out there because I want you to be able to continue to help other people because it's something I believe that actually is needed. It falls in with mindful eating for me. And I love promoting Black plant-based chefs, but I was okay with that though. So when you said that, I'm good with that. Like it didn't even make me second think anything. I was like, okay, cool. And keep it moving. But man, this was a great conversation, Shereen. I really hope that people are able to take the evolution of newness, whether it's anxiety or nerves, and just really leaning into that discomfort because it's going to allow you to evolve and it's going to be able to present opportunities to you that you never would have thought of had you not taken the opportunity or taken the chance to push through all of the things that were holding you back or making you feel a little resistance for just been diving straight into all of this new thing. So y'all keep with the embrace vibes. I don't know if you can see it in the shirt.
Yeah, we can see it.
Embrace vibes. Keep embracing the newness. Keep embracing the things that come to you that feel good to your soul, your body, but most importantly, resonates with your authentic self. Because when you can show up places that just want you to be you, that's the place that's for you. And they just need you just to show up. So just show up and get any and everything that you can out of that opportunity, nerves and all.
And I think that also just, once you actually push through whatever it is, you can then reflect on it and be like, okay, why did I feel that way? And even if you're not certain, I have not figured out why I was so nervous 2 days ago at dinner. And I'm not stuck on it. I'm not overthinking it. I'm just acknowledging it. And actually through the conversation you and I actually had this afternoon when we were preparing for this call, it was like, maybe it's the shift. Maybe it's actually the shift. It's that uncomfortableness where you things that for me, I feel like it's things that I've manifested, things that you may have prayed for, things that you have been asking for, things that you have been wanting as they're starting to come up. And it's uncomfortable because you're going through it for the first time and you're going through it for the second time. Give us 3 months. Girl, oh yeah, what you got doing this today? Oh, well, I did like 3 talks this week, got paid and did, moderated 2 lives and got paid and, XYZ, right? So it's that shift that we're going through. But it feels good because I feel like before I felt the shift was coming up. And now I feel like we're we're going through it. And then like a month from now, after, wait, what day is it today? The 6th, we'll be done the podcast summit a month from now. It's the 5th and the 6th. The 7th and it's the 5th, it's the 4th and the 5th. I'll be there on the 6th. I'm coming back to Canada on the 7th. The 8th is my birthday. And we would have went through that shift, and the story and the feeling will be completely different.
It would be. It would be.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Right.
So learn with it. And I feel like it comes in waves. So just think of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
It comes in waves. You're gonna constantly be moving in some way, shape, form, or fashion through shifts. So I absolutely love that. And don't be scared. Don't be scared of the friction. Don't be scared of the ups. Don't be scared of the downs, because you know that it's going to just continue to flow if you continue to go. And most importantly, grow, because that was the big component. You said you're learning more about yourself. And you're learning more about what you can do, what you like, what you don't like. But most importantly, you're learning to love you despite it all. So just keep
going. And you're learning how to go through new things.
Definitely learning to go through new things, and go through new things with new opportunities and new people that you may or may not have even thought about exploring or experiencing these new.
Before you show that card, 2 years ago. So Alex was on the panel today. We met today for the first time in person. He actually lives right around the corner from my studio, not far from the studio. But I was actually in a course that he was teaching like 2 years ago. And now we're like at the same event, but like doing things together. So it's such a different vibe, and change happens very, very quickly, right? So yeah, let's see that card, girl.
Well, you go ahead and get ready to check us out. If I could have any superpower, what would it be and why? How would this change my life?
You go first. What's your superpower?
I could have any superpower. What would it be and why? How would this change my life? My superpower would be I would love the superpower of being able to have the right thing to say, knowing the right thing to say to people to help them shift their mindset to something, to a place where they can actually embrace what it is that they're going through, to be able to move it into a more healthy thought process, to make a choice to be empowered. So I'm going to go with having the superpower of being able to shift mindsets so people can embrace a healthier alternative to whatever that thought process or problem was that they were currently facing. If I knew exactly what to say to be able to help people shift their mindset in a more empowering way, I think that's what I would love for my superpower would be. Because if that's the case, then Shereen, I'll take it back to the first question. Then I'll be able to really have that M to the third degree healing empowerment formula be a global movement, because I would know exactly what to say to get people to embrace healthy habits and lifestyle changes using the M to the third degree healing empowerment formula. Let's go, Shereen. Let me hear you.
For me, it would be more, so I'm kind of like Magneto. I have always been intrigued and curious about the brain, right? I've always wanted to know like how the brain works. I've read a lot of psychology books. I'm into I wanted to be a psychologist. So for me, it's kind of hearing people's thoughts, right? And so it's not similar to yours in the sense of yours is more like, what do you say? But mine is more like, what are they thinking? Or just knowing the thoughts of others, right? Yeah, I think that mine is like Magneto. I just intrigued with how the brain works. And I guess the brain works is like letting us know how people are, what they're thinking, what's going on in their mind.
Love it. I love it. Oh, shoot. Said someone next to me said they would love having the power to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Having the power to heal. All right. I love that one. I
Mm-hmm.
love that one. We need more healers. We need people who appreciate allowing people to want to heal and explore healing. And I believe that if there was more healers and people on healing journeys and helping people navigate their own healing journey, we would probably have a more peaceful, loving world. And so I'm grateful for that person sitting next to, oh, shoot, to even have a heart to want to help other people to heal.
Absolutely.
All right, so it's your healthy habits and lifestyle coach, Jovonnie. The link in the description of this video takes you through a whole bunch of different links, but that first link is for you to get that anti-inflammatory guide. I want you to reduce chronic pain. I want you to start incorporating foods that help you reduce pain, help you regulate your period if you have one, as well as take the stress out of trying to figure out what to eat. Look at all the options on there and find creative ways, things that you like, to be able to embrace those anti-inflammatory foods. If you are looking for a healthy habits and lifestyle coach, you want to be empowered with mindful eating, with movement, with mindset, how you love yourself, take care of yourself, click the link as well and complete the application and say, let's get these vibes flowing on this healing journey. And if you like my Embrace Vibe shirt, you like my Vibe with Me, y'all shirt that I had on last week, all my merch as well as my mugs is on a link as well to shop. Not just merch, but I also have some pain reducing products like a hot water bottle, a weighted blanket. Just go check out the shop because it's live, it's open, and it's there for you to get all of your feel goods. But y'all, if you're not already subscribed to the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast on your favorite podcast distribution platform, go tap in, follow the podcast, listen to an episode or 2 or 3, and then give me a rating. I would love to have you support my podcast with a rating and give me that feedback, because it is all about you on your healing journey, being empowered and having good food experiences. Food experiences, check out the Nourish and Flourish Vibes mukbang here on YouTube every single Tuesday, where I'm just showing you healthy eating while I'm healthy living. All right. I love y'all. Thanks for vibing with me, y'all. Shereen.
Hello, everyone. So, check out Voices and Vibes podcast on all your podcast distribution platforms, wherever you like to consume. We also have the video version here on YouTube. It's actually under the name Blackprint.com. But if you're looking for new products, well, next month we are going through a rebranding. So we're bringing on new products, new vendors, and that will be available for your shopping experience, things to heal, hair products, skincare products, and we're definitely dipping into fashion. And so, with all these events that I go to, I need to start supporting some of the things that I'm actually wearing. So I'd love to share it with you. And you can check that out on blackprint.com. And if you are in Canada and you feel like dropping a podcast, you want to drop your perspective, you want people to know what's on your mind, reach out to me and you can pull up at Perspective Studio Productions. Next week, we will be dropping all of the events that we have going on for the month of June. And that includes open house hours where you can pop in, a content day where you can come on in, spend like $50, not a whole day, but spend an hour there. And you can either collab with other content creators or create content for yourself that you can use for your business. Or if you have production needs, you want a podcast, but you just need plug and play. You don't want to figure it all out like we are. You just want to be able to drop your perspective on the mic with your brand, get everything done for you. Well, that's what Perspective Studio Productions can help you do. So if you are a small business and you're looking to get your message out there one way or another, it doesn't have to be a podcast. Think of it as a show. Then reach out to Perspective Studio Productions over on Instagram, or just check out our website, perspectivestudioproductions.com, and we will reach out to you as well. Thank you so much for joining Herbal Tea Thursday. We will be back next Thursday with another episode. Jovonnie and I doing
We
it big.
We will. We will. We love y'all. We
We
appreciate
do.
y'all. But most importantly, thanks for vibing with us, y'all. Be
Thanks,
easy.
everyone.
Be off strong.
Bye, everyone.